All right, boys, here we go. Jeremiah chapter 2. So we'll be getting into, we've read James many times, Jamer, and JJ. I suppose your name may come originally from Jeremiah. If not, there are connections either way or nonetheless. Um, so here we go, Jeremiah chapter 1. Since I finished, this is Jeremiah chapter 2, the study. Since the LSV Matthew chapter 3 reading, I don't know how I got on down this rabbit hole, but in the NASB in John 1:8, in the NASB 95, and there are others, it refers to Jesus as the only begotten God. There's not two gods. We have the eternal God, which is beyond time, beyond the universe, beyond the heavens, beyond time, enters into time. And so that begetting is not the creation of, but it is a uniqueness of God and his logos, his character entering into time. I really like that. I think that's interesting, and that's not in your Textus Receptus, your KJVs, Geneva Bibles. I think that's very interesting. The only begotten God. And that's colliding very strongly with Colossians 2:9. Within Jesus, all of the deity of God is in Jesus Christ. He is the one true God, the great I am. He's in the Father's in him. Anyway, that's what I've been doing probably for an hour. So here we go. We were last in Jeremiah chapter 1. We saw the introduction. We saw Jeremiah's call. Different things. I see a seething pot, and the face thereof is toward the north. That is Jeremiah 1:13. Looking back, 1:8. Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith Yahweh. I'm changing that reading to Yahweh. It says the Lord in the KJV. Verse 19, 119, and they shall fight against thee, but they shall not prevail against thee, for I am with thee, saith Yahweh, to deliver thee. Again, I'm saying it. So here we go. Jeremiah chapter 2 is big. Pretty big chapter. So here we go. Jeremiah's message to sinful Israel. And that's something I wanted to look at a while ago. John refers to the Pharisees and Sadducees as a brood of vipers. I want to make a note of that and look at that real quick before I forget. To the Pharisees as a brood of vipers. And this can be for all people. Many times we see Paul talk about the people that are not of the faith, that are not truly the Jews. And we see Jesus talking about this in Revelation. John writes this in Revelation. So for John to make this statement, I've never really paid attention to it, but he refers to them as a brood of vipers. I want to check that out. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, Thus saith Yahweh, I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth, the love of thine espousals, when thou wentest after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown. Israel was holiness unto Yahweh, and the firstfruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend, evil shall come upon them, saith Yahweh. Hear ye the word of Yahweh, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Thus saith Yahweh, What iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they have gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and are become vain? Neither said they, Where is Yahweh that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of deserts and of pits, through a land of drought and of the shadow of death, through a land that no man passed through, and where no man dwelt? And I brought you into a plentiful country, to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when ye entered, ye defiled my land, and made mine heritage an abomination. Okay. Not sure I got to. I'm going to try to get through this. I'm going to have to go to lunch because I get somebody steps over for me. So here, let's see if I get there. I'm going to pick up in verse 4. Hear ye the word of Yahweh, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Thus saith Yahweh, What iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they have gone far from me, and have walked after vanity and are become vain. Neither said they, where is Yahweh that brought us up? I know I've read all this, I'm sorry. Out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of deserts and of pits, through a land of drought and of a shadow of death, through a land that no man passed through and where no man dwelt. And I brought you into a plentiful country to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when ye entered, ye defiled my land and made my heritage an abomination. I know I've read all that. I'm so sorry. Verse 8, the priest said not, where is Yahweh? And they that handled the law knew me not. And the pastors also transgressed against me. 8:1, the rulers, the pastors always transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal, and walked after things that do not profit. Verse 9, Israel's sufferings and the result of sin. We're either calling them blessings or we're calling them curses. There's no in between. We're either under the shadow of the Almighty or we're not. Verse 9, wherefore I will yet plead with you, saith Yahweh, and with your children's children will I plead, for pass over the isles of Chittim, and see and send into Kedar, and consider diligently, and see if there be such a thing. Hath the nation changed their gods, which are ye not gods, but my people have changed their glory for that which doeth not profit. Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, saith Yahweh. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? The young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they made his land waste, and his cities are burned without inhabitant. Yeah. Verse 16, also the children of Noph and Tahapanes have broken the crown of thy head. Hast thou not produced this unto thyself, if thou hast forsaken Yahweh thy God when he led thee by the way? And now what hast thou to do in the way of Egypt, to drink the waters of Sihor? Or what hast thou to do in the way of Assyria, to drink the waters of the river? Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see what it is, an evil thing and bitter, that thou hast forsaken. Let's look at that. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter, that thou hast forsaken Yahweh thy God, and that my fear is not in thee. Cliff talked about that Sunday. To fear God. Fear is not in thee, saith Yahweh, God of hosts. For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou saidst, I will not transgress, and upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest, playing the harlot. Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, holy, a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? For though thou wash thee with niter, and take thee much soap, yet thine iniquity is marked before me, saith Yahweh. How canst thou say, I am not polluted, I have not gone after Balaam? See thy way, the valley, know what thou hast done. Thou art a swift and dromedary traversing her ways, a wild ass used to the wilderness, that snuffeth up the wind at her pleasure and her occasion. Who can turn her away? All they that seek her will not weary themselves. In her month they shall find her. Withhold thy foot from being unshod, and thy throat from being thirst. But thou saidst, there is no hope. No, for I have loved strangers, and after them will I go. As the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their princes, and their priests, and their prophets, saying to a stock, Thou art my father, and to a stone, Thou hast brought me forth, for they have turned their back unto me, and not. Mr. Gaskin, please call the front. Where did I get to? Okay. As the thief is ashamed. I don't know if that's where I was at or not. Anyway, verse 26. As the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed, they, their kings, their princes, and their priests, and their prophets, saying to a stock, Thou art my father, and to the stone, Thou hast brought me forth. For they have turned their back unto me, and not their face, but in the time of their trouble they will say, Arise and save us. Always, it's what we do. But where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. For according to the number of thy cities are thy gods of Judah. Wherefore will ye plead with me? Ye all have transgressed against me, saith Yahweh. In vain have I smitten your children, they receive no correction. Your own sword hath devoured your prophets like a destroying lion. O generation, see ye the word of Yahweh, have I been a wilderness unto Israel, a land of darkness? Wherefore say my people, we are lords, we will come no more to thee. Can a maid forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me, dazed without number. Why trimest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. Also in thy skirts is found the blood of the souls of the poor innocents. I have not found it by secret search, but upon all these. Yet thou sayest, Because I am innocent, surely his anger shall turn from me. Behold, I will plead with thee, because thou sayest, I have not sinned. Why gaddest thou about so much to change the way? Thou also shalt be ashamed of Egypt, as thou wast ashamed of Assyria. Thou shalt go forth from him, and thine hands upon thine head, for Yahweh hath rejected thy confidences, and thou shalt not prosper in them. And there we go. Isaiah chapter 2. Chapter 3 is Judah turns from the Lord. Whoa. So this is the Jews. This is Israel. We see all this again and again. Okay, well, that's going to be it. God's chosen people turns from the Lord, and this is what we do. We see this over and over. Well, that's going to be it. That's going to be it for today. Good stuff. Again, hope that you guys are having a great day, and we will pick up tomorrow. I love you boys much. We'll talk to you soon.